The Steam Deck has been unveiled. So yesterday, Valve officially announced this. Rumors were going around. Everyone was calling it the Steam Pile, but it's out. It's called Steam Deck. You can reserve it today. I just wanted to talk about it exclusively from a Steam controller user's point of view. I haven't really heard anyone talking about it from that angle, except some angry ranting on Discord. So first impression, what do I think of it? I'm conflicted. I have questions. It looks like it's doing some things that are really cool, and some things I'm very worried about as far as from the point of view of an exclusive Steam controller user who focuses on dual trackpads for everything and does not want a future with sticks that develop drift. So, if you're not familiar with who I am, that's where I'm coming from. That is my lane. I am all about the trackpads. That being said, they're doing some cool things with these sticks. So, first, IGN has some coverage. They have some gameplay here. I notice that really nobody uses the trackpads. I think in IGN they use it for about 3 seconds just to demonstrate that it technically works for a mousepad, and maybe show it being used in a real-time strategy game. And that is my concern. By having 2 sticks, they're pretty much guaranteeing that people are not going to use the trackpads for primary action in first-person shooter games, in racing games, in platformers, give me the genre, except real-time strategy and maybe an MMO. And I don't think people are going to be using the trackpads very much. Is that a bad thing for this device? Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, great. People keep saying it's great to have options. But coming at it from the perspective of a Steam controller user who desperately wants there to be a single controller being produced that does not have 2 sticks and focuses on trackpads, I'm a little worried. So, I mean, first off, the placement isn't... The placement looks a little compromised. The size looks a little compromised. It basically screams to me that you're not going to see any developer configs that use dual trackpads. You're probably barely ever going to see community configs that focus on dual trackpad. There'll be some. I mean, there'll be power users that will still do that, but it's not going to catch on, because why would it? People have the option to use the sticks. Sticks are what they're familiar with. So this is an example where I feel like providing more options stifles innovation. It doesn't lead to innovation. If you provide the options for people to use what they're comfortable with, they will use what they're comfortable with. Is that a bad thing for the sale of this device? Probably not. I mean, it's great. They're going to sell lots of units. Is it a bad thing if you want a trackpad-focused future for gaming? Hell yes. I don't see the trackpads being utilized much. And even if we got to a Steam Controller 2 someday, like maybe they release a Pro version, I think it's going to be similar to this. They're going to have the sticks. The touchpads will maybe be above the sticks, very similar to a DualSense, possibly split in half with the Steam logo in the middle. And you're going to use them for maps, OS mouse functions, touch menus. You're not going to use them for movement and camera, which are the main thing. Like, maybe some people will use this with this right pad for the mouse. But okay, boy, I guess I needed to get that off my chest. It was a little bit more ranty than I thought it was going to be. But it's frustrating. Like, you're losing... They're smaller than the Steam controller touchpads. So you're losing real estate. They're in a less ideal position, so they're not going to be focused on. They're going to be great for touch menus. They're going to be great for menu options. They're going to be great for inventory actions. That's like, this was kind of what was getting frustrating in the Discord. People didn't seem to understand my concerns. I'm not saying they won't be used. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that we have sticks. I'm saying these sticks being here is guaranteeing the touchpads will not be used for priority things. They're going to get used, and that'll be great. There's more options for people to bind things. But things that I am excited for, things that I like, there is... Oh, so here we see... Oh, just look how small that is. And it's a square. Like, I have noticed... No, I'm not done ranting. So I've noticed specifically, I have yet to see a single person in any footage using the left trackpad. Zero. Like, I haven't even seen it tapped on to show that it works. No one is using it. So yeah, good luck with that dual trackpad future. Boy, hello darkness, my old friend. That was darker than what I was intending to be. I'm not all negative. Looks like it's doing some cool things. So these thumbsticks, hey, back up. Oh, don't even get me started on the triggers. We'll come back to that. The thumbsticks have capacitive sensors on top. So what that means is, like right here, this creates a great solution for recentering your gyro. That's always been my issue, even like thinking of a non-Steam controller future. You don't really have a good gyro on touch, which I use exclusively on Steam controller. I use that in every instance that I'm using gyro in an action game for camera control. It's, right pad touch. So now, I thought they were going to show it here. But it'll do the same thing as your thumb touches. Yeah, he's showing it. So yeah, it's touching the pad, touching the thumbstick. I'm assuming you could also have that set to left stick, which is another question. Steam input. What kind of flexibility, functionality do we have? They haven't shown any of that. They mention everything is remappable, but nothing has been shown. So I mean, is it Steam input as we know? Is it a new type of overhauled Steam input? It's Linux based, meaning if you're playing non-Steam games, you'll use the desktop shortcut for X input? Like, what is there a global overlay for playing non-Steam games? Do we still have to add non-Steam games into the Steam client to use Steam input and reconfigure controls? Just speaking of, what the hell is a Steam community profile bundle? What does that even mean? Are you gonna lock off community profiles? That doesn't make any sense. I can't imagine Valve doing that. So what, is that just a curated, like, there's going to be a community manager who's picking out the best controller bundles or configs? I'm scratching my head at that one. There's no way they're going to wall off access to community configs. So there's something else going on there that has me asking questions. Back to just the actual input options. Capacitive thumbsticks, awesome. That's great. Trackpads, it's nice that they're there. I see them falling to the wayside. They're not going to be used for primary stuff. That's just, maybe I'm being unfair. That's what I see. And I see if there's a potential standalone controller, it's going to have two sticks, and people are going to mostly use the two sticks. Is that a bad thing? No. Is it sad and depressing to me, who wants trackpad-focused future? Yeah. But it would be nice to have the capacitive sticks on a standalone controller. That'd be a pretty cool feature that isn't in any other controller. The triggers, I said I would come back to that. Triggers are confirmed to not be dual stage. That's a gut punch. I use full pull trigger in every single profile I create. Even if it's a, in first person shooters, I'm loving putting full pull left trigger with gyro flicks. In racing games, I love putting full pull right trigger to boost. And I already anticipate the retort will be, well, you can do that with you can still do that in the activators, but my pushback is without having that digital click and that threshold stop. You feel the stop when you get to the end of the threshold, and then you squeeze harder to get the digital click. You're losing out. That's a bummer. That's a major gut punch to me. That is honestly one of the better features of Steam Controller. Grip buttons, awesome. I don't really have much to say about that. That should be expected. We should always have those. I don't read anything about them doing anything special, like being pressure sensitive or anything like that. Which, the trackpad, I don't know if they mentioned this somewhere. Just increased precision, yeah. These are pressure sensitive. That was confirmed by a Steam dev in Discord, which I'm skeptical of what that actually will feel like. Hopefully it feels cool and is not just like basically a regular press and a long press. I don't know, or is it like a tap in a press? I feel like that's what it's really going to be, like a cell phone where you tap it or you press it down and there's a click, which also has me questioning. Wasn't actually confirmed. Can we map D-pad and face buttons, like mode shift clicks? That's I want to see the Steam input stuff. How much can we really remap? What else? Was I cranky? I don't think so. I'm just, yeah, I am not excited about the position. I don't like the position of those trackpads. At first I thought maybe, oh, they put them in a place where people are going to use them more, but then every single bit of footage of showing somebody play, they're not using them. That, like I said, I haven't seen anybody use this left pad at all. And all the buttons seem strategically placed, that your area of action is that top edge where the stick and the face buttons are. So you're gonna come down to the trackpad for your map functions, for your operating system mouse control, stuff like that. Like, it's cool that they're there, but they're not gonna get used much. That's, I'm holding pretty tight to that. That's my concern. What else do we want to talk about? Yeah, capacitive sticks, awesome. General shape, it looks pretty bland. I mean, just from a art aesthetics side, it reminds me of a device from the 90s. Actually, when I first saw it, it reminded me of the TurboGrafx handheld. Just like a pretty clunky tech nerd looking device, like not something that looks appealing to the masses, I will say, at least in my opinion. We can see that she's controlling the mouse. Like, yeah, it's gonna work, but still using left stick to move. I'm sure I've said enough about that. I have voiced my concerns. So yeah, it's a device I'm sure a lot of people are excited for. I'm sure it's going to fill a void that a lot of people have. I don't personally really have a need for portable gaming. I don't own a Switch, I don't own a console, I don't play cell phone games. I'm not the demographic for this. I'm looking at it just for the controller functions and what this would maybe tell us about the future of a standalone controller, if that future even exists. Because honestly, I lean more to they don't need to make their own standalone controller. They've already confirmed, like, you know, it's a selling point will be you can use any controller you already have through Steam Input. Hook up your Xbox controller, hook up Your DualSense, hook up your Switch Pro controller. You know, and that's another example where people keep saying, you know, oh, we have more options. We have 2 sticks and 2 pads. More options is better. Well, they opened up Steam Input to other controllers to create more options. And now we don't have a Steam controller. And nothing has been said that we will ever get another Steam controller. I don't really see the need for them to make one, or the motivation. They put all this time and effort to supporting all these other controllers on Steam Input. So yeah, it's like, hey, you wanna play this with a controller? Go ahead, just hook up your other controller. You don't need to buy a separate controller. Like, there's not really much of a need for it. But it would be a shame if we never at least got that's the eye in the sky that I see, is people will latch on to the capacitive thumbstick and really notice how nice that feels, and maybe that will lead to a Switch Pro type controller that has those capacitive sticks but is not going to be trackpad focused. It'll maybe toss in the trackpads. So yeah, I mean, I guess it would probably be more like a DualSense or a DS4 controller. I can't remember is that just called, the DS4? Yeah, it'd be like that, where it's going to be the 2 sticks. You'll maybe still have a trackpad to do some stuff, but you're not going to be using it for move and camera. Though maybe it would be, I guess, now that I'm just totally spitball speculating, I could see there maybe being maybe would put a little trackpad like this for the right thumb, like on a asymmetrical Xbox layout. So you'd maybe have a smaller touchpad, like Sony style, above the stick, and then the other one below the stick. So yeah, I don't know, but even that, I feel like we're getting farther away from with each day. But that's my Steam Deck thoughts, concerns, questions, random speculation. It's interesting. I don't really have a need for it, and I'm a little worried about the future of there being any controller made in production that has dual trackpad focus for movement and camera. That's my main concern. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.